Hi, this is Katie Shell. I'm an intuitive healer and spiritual counselor. I work with several modalities, including astrology, embodied movement, and aromatherapy. And this is an aromatherapy and astrology video speaking specifically about oils to support Gemini. It is Gemini season right now. And we also have a transit of Jupiter moving into Gemini right now. So there's this kind of infusion of Gemini energy for the next year. Jupiter spends about a year in each sign. It just got in there at the end of May of 2024. It will be there until June 9th of 2025. And so Jupiter really expands everything it touches. So we're going to get this infusion of Gemini energy, which is about curiosity. It's about understanding things. It's about communication. It's kind of this kind of jack of all trades. It's very social because it likes to collect things. And it likes to collect things by talking to people and talking a lot. So if you have any Gemini placements, or generally at some point during every transit, something in your chart is going to get activated, whether by conjunction, by trine, by sextile, by opposition, by square. There's going to be some sort of activation somewhere for you during this next year through this Jupiter. Obviously, depending on your individual chart, how that plays out is going to be different, and where it's coming from is going to be different. So you book a reading if you want some help with that. But the essential oils that I'm featuring right now for support of Geminis kind of take it on two different angles. One is ones that kind of embody the Gemini energy, and ones that are more about balancing Gemini energy. And they all have a little bit of everything, because one, I look at, especially my approach to aromatherapy. Aromatherapy is about bringing balance to things that are out of balance. And so, whatever we're working with, it will create harmony within us, within our bodies, within our minds. Because keeping in mind, Gemini energy is very, very mental energy. So, we need things that maybe are going to ground us a little bit while keeping that mind active and maybe focusing a little bit, so we don't feel so scattered. If you don't have Gemini energy in your natal chart, when we get an infusion with it, we can feel very scattered. If it's, I did a video recently on progressions. So if your progressed moon suddenly just moved, or your progressed sun, or your progressed whatever has moved into Gemini, you may feel discombobulated. If suddenly all of these things, and you're used to, if you're, strong Virgo energy is going to be squared by the by Gemini transits. And so again, might feel sort of, Virgo is very much about stability and security. It's an earth sign. It's also mental, also ruled by Mercury, but so it's important to give us that stability while allowing the expansion and the curiosity that comes in and invites us from Gemini to be witnessed and experienced. Because Gemini is, a lot of what Gemini is about experience and understanding and collecting information. So one of the first, so for each zodiac sign, I do have one featured oil where I have these little affirmation-y ritual cards that you get if you order it. So for the Gemini oil, it's blue cypress, and blue cypress is really nice for Gemini. So thinking about Gemini is throat, speaking. So we're talking about the throat chakra, which is why I like working with something that is blue for Gemini energy, because it's about speaking. The cypress, if you've ever seen a cypress tree, it kind of moves with the wind. I love kind of watching the cypress trees dance in the wind, but you know that they're stable, you know that they're secure, you know that they're not going to fall down because they have a really strong root base. People have literally used them for hedges, not blue cypress specifically, but cypresses in general, and the other cypresses are really good, but they move with the wind, and Gemini is ruled by air. And again, works on the throat. So that's why I really like the blue cypress, because it creates that stability and that strength, and allows us then to take things on and move with adversity and challenges and dance with them rather than be knocked down by them, and then being able to speak about them with authority and confidence as we understand better how we are moving with the flow. So of course, an oil, it's a thicker oil, which is something I like about it. I like these ones that are a little bit, because they stay better, but it takes an extra second to kind of get it out of the bottle, or you might want to pop the cap off. And I like to put this one on the throat for sure. You can just draw little symbols on there or anything, smell the bottle, breathe it in, catch your breath. Ask, and one of the affirmations I have with this is asking for clarity in our words. And so that we're not scattered. And you can tell I'm a little, I mean, I'm all, um, I love talking about this stuff. And it's important for me to be able to convey the information, to be able to focus on one thing, and to be able to share things in a coherent way instead of just kind of babbling all over the place. And so even though I do have Gemini energy in my chart. I have actually, Jupiter is in Gemini, so this is my Jupiter return. That is happening right now. So it is amplified for me, in especially, it's my 11th house, so it's about communication, it's about social gathering and kind of bringing people for a joint vision of the future. So I'll probably be making more videos during this season and trying to connect with people in other ways. So the blue cypress, super supportive. The next one I want to talk about is hoe wood. So hoe wood is one of the ones that we take that kind of balances out the overthinking that we get into. It helps us. It's a wood. It's a heart wood, so it helps us feel more centered and more secure. I like putting this one on the temples. It quiets the mind a little bit, so we're not racing so much through our thoughts, which can definitely be happening when we are being infused with that Gemini energy, because again, it's very mental. It's constantly thinking. So this just quiets it a little bit. It helps us calm. It helps us center, and it helps us ground. The next one is, I'm going to do this, blue gum eucalyptus. So again, I'm featuring blue oils because they have to do with the throat, and speaking. And so what I like to do with this is do kind of the auricular treatment, which is dripping it down the ears, down to the throat. So it's, what are we hearing? It reminds us to listen. Sometimes that we have to listen instead of just talking all the time. Put it on the throat so that we have clarity in our words again, so we feel supported. And then it opens up the lungs, because Gemini is about breath and it's air, so we want to fill ourselves up with air and wisdom and understanding. It smells so good too, because it really, most people have spelled eucalyptus at some degree, and it just so enlivens the senses, and I kind of love it. My Taurusy side always comes through when I'm working with my oils, because Taurus is so sensual and so in touch with the physical senses, literally, and so I can just yummy. Okay. My little sidetrack into Taurus energy there. And then two more. I thought I had one more over here, but I didn't bring it over here, which is fine. I'll just talk about it. Our mandarin and mandarin petitgrain. And mandarin is a citrus, citrus fruit. It comes from the peel, and it's about protecting our juiciness, our center, our joy, and it's about healing working with our inner child. And one of the things about Gemini is it sees the world through that kind of innocence and curiosity of a child. And so I find that working with the Mandarin family is super supportive in kind of invoking that and letting that inner child be healed. I've been working with a lot of Gemini Chiron people lately, which is kind of late. I want to say, yeah, it's got to be late, mid 1984, And then I don't know how far it goes, if how long, because Chiron is at a unusual orbit. I'll stick it up in the corner when I say what exact years Chiron is in Gemini. But Chiron is something that we close off about ourselves, something that we edit because we're very sensitive in that area. We're feeling fears of rejections for it. And with the Gemini side of that, it's that fear of being the toddler who asks too many questions. And so Mandarin helps us heal that and helps us bring the joy back into ourselves, into our lives, and connecting with and again healing that and letting us see all that is possible around us and asking all the questions and experiencing all the things in all of the ways, because it's one of the things I say about Gemini a lot is that they just want to experience everything all of the time. Then they want to be all of the things all of the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. And learning to accept that and be joyful in that, because we can be. We're humans and we're experiencing this amazing human life, which is filled with different kinds of things to learn and experience and find joy through. So Mandarin peel, so that's basic Mandarin scent. And then the other one is Mandarin petitgrain, which is the leaves of the tree. So that helps us add that air element to it, that breath element that I was talking about with the eucalyptuses. But this is doing it from the angle of kind of that inner childness, that joy, that innocence. And then the last one that I wanted to talk about is spearmint. And spearmint is another one that really tunes us into our inner child, but it also helps us focus a little bit. It's not like hardcore sort of focus and get down to work sort of thing, but it's like, okay, I have a million ideas. What is going to land in front of me right now? And that's what helps and gives me some energy to move and some momentum. I like to think of Gemini energy as like bubbles and balloons and things that are kind of floating. So we kind of just want to gently corral those into a specific direction. And spearmint can help us do that because it helps us have focus without but it's a very light energy, and so it helps us stay fluid and buoyant. So I hope this helps. All of the oils are available at my website. If you have questions, if you've experienced with some of these oils, if you are a Gemini or have strong Gemini energy within you, drop a comment, email me, tell me what you've experienced. So, I always do my closing and then remember one more thing. Clearly, my Gemini is activated right now. Sagittarius. So Sagittarius is the opposite of Gemini. It can be super helpful to look at I have a list on my website. I have not made a video on it yet, but Sagittarius oils can also kind of support if we get stuck. Gemini gets a little bit focused on the details and the information. So Sagittarius helps us kind of believe in something, which is really interesting coming back to Jupiter being in Gemini right now, because Jupiter is ruled by Sagittarius. So it's about believing in ourselves, believing in what we understand, and believing in the information that is right in front of us, and trusting in that and having faith in that, without overthinking things. So yeah. So anyway, hope this helps. Have a great day.